far because we're going to need you.
Oh, okay.
If there's anything we're going to accomplish in this meeting, it's hunger. So, do you like bananas?
I do.
Do you mind opening it up for us? So how many of you open a banana the same way he just opened it? Put your hand up.
Different from me, there's another way.
Now, how many of you find challenges when opening bananas? What are some challenges you find when opening bananas?
It like doesn't snap.
Yeah, like you break the banana. And you try to use your teeth. Right. So obviously there's some challenges to the bananas. Thanks so much. By the end of this talk, did you want to eat it?
Yeah.
By the end of this talk, I'll not only make sure everybody knows how to properly open bananas, but I'll also make sure that every single time you look at a banana, you'll remember that it's possible to achieve success in our pursuit of excellence in education. So, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and some guests that we have today. Many of you might know from my last talk that my passion is in education. I started off as an educator in mathematics, university and high school level, but what always perplexed me was, how come we never figured it out? I mean, people have been teaching for a long time. How is it we haven't figured out how to catch those kids who fall through the cracks? We all still have those challenges. Well, in the last little bit, I started exploring that by asking, what do other professions do? What does medicine do? What does business do? And what I ended up uncovering is that there's actually a really simple, clean model that actually helps guide how we can achieve success. So I'm going to share that with you today. That's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to share with you the model so that you all understand it. And then I'm going to dive deep into what we actually have to do in education relative to that model to achieve success. I'll cover 2 points on that. But more importantly, we're going to use bananas. Not only to teach you how to properly open bananas, but bananas is going to be a reminder every time you see it that it is possible to achieve success in a pursuit for excellence in education. So let's talk about this model. So the first thing that you need to know is that there's actually a group of people in the world that are like the gurus of finding success, whatever the success might be. It could be curbing AIDS, stopping AIDS spread in a developing country. Right? There's a group of people, implementation scientists, that they devote their lives to figuring out how to make that happen. Now, this group, it's called the Global Implementation Initiative, actually came up with this model. And I found it to be the most simplistic and easy model that taps into change management. It taps into or encompasses all the different models that exist out there. It's very simplistic. So let's make sure we understand what that is. Well, they define, to get any socially significant outcome, you need 3 things. An effective intervention, an effective implementation, and the supports. What does that mean? Effective intervention is the what. What is it you need to do that will get you success? That's proven. So in the case of our banana, if we wanted to figure out the best way to succeed in opening bananas, what do we do? Well, we got to figure out the different ways that we can open a banana and which way actually works best. Now, in this case, what can we do? Well, we can go and talk to or observe the people that open bananas every single day, multiple times a day, which are monkeys. And what will you find monkeys do? They don't use this side, they use this side. They pinch and they peel. So I just told you what to do, the best method to open up bananas. Now the reality is this, a month from now, if you're opening a banana, what do you think the chances are that you actually open up this way versus this way? We always default to what we're used to. And for that reason, you need the second piece. The how do we get a massive group of people to actually start doing these different behaviors? That's the what. That's the implementation. So let's dive into the different elements as it relates to education. Now the what. Now in education, there's lots of things in education that has an impact on student success. I mean, if I showed you the chart of different instructional strategies, supports with parents, grouping students by age or by category, there's so many things that we can do. By far, my favorite researcher of all, who basically looked at all the things that we could do in education and compared them relative to each other, is a man called John Hattie. You can Google him and find out there's some great talks that synthesize his research. But basically, he put everything on the spectrum. -1 means you have negative effect on learning. Positive ones one means you have a positive effect on learning. 0 means there's no effect. What he found, and he spent 25 years with a bunch of researchers looking at every single research that is out there in education, is that almost 80 to 90% of things we do in classrooms have a positive effect. The average is 0.4. Where does reducing class size fit? Over here, 0.2. It has an effect, but relative to all the other things we can do, it's minimal. And so what we need to focus on are the things, the behaviors that we want teachers to be doing that fall into this category. And we know what they are. They're in front of us. So that's the what in education. Now let's get to the how. So let's go back to our banana. So you now know what to do, but how do we get you all to change your behaviors? Well, for that, you need different strategies. Now, the reality is, the group that came up with this was funny. The keynote last year, the director of the organization, first thing she said was, we are all here because we haven't figured out how to implement. And that's why we're here, to share our practice and to learn and to try to get closer to figuring it out. But there is some hope. One strategy that the research shows is effective is you assign a team. If I assign these 3 with the challenge, by 6 months from now, I want every single person in this room opening bananas this way. Your job is to make it happen. Your chance of success skyrocket. Assign a team to tackle implementation. Now the next thing is, what do you actually get people to do? Well, you can hand out bananas. Right? Go ahead and try it, right? So go ahead and try opening the banana the other way. Get them to experience it. Maybe I give you each, every single time you come to Toastmasters, 50 bananas. 25 you open the original way, 25 you open the other way. Until you experience, no way, this is way better. Right? So there's different strategies you can implement. One of my favorite strategies, and it just came out last year, came from the International Summit for the Teaching Profession. Basically, there's about 25 developing countries that come together. It's the ministers, the deputy ministers, and their staff, basically all the people who actually do the actual work in the country for education. And then they have their presidents of teacher unions, the lead teachers, or outstanding teachers, outstanding principals, and they come together to talk about teaching and learning. And what they do is they bring in high-end speakers and researchers to present short clips or bits of insight about teaching and learning. And what they do is they put everybody in groups, but not with people from your country, and you have discussions and dialogue. On the last day, you get together with your country. You spend 2 hours synthesizing the work and the discussions. And your country has come up with 3 things that you're going to implement in that next year. And it was really cool, because on the last day, you have this big rectangular table, it's all videotaped, and you have the country names and the country flags and the ministers sitting there, and they go one by one saying the 3 things they're going to do. Almost 90%, almost every single minister included one thing: creating more opportunities for teachers to work collaboratively. So what's the strategy? The strategy is, what you need to do is not have them work individually, but have them work together. Figure out a way where they're going to be working together to try to change their behavior. We know that that works. So what did I just go through? I just went through a model that we know is simple and that can guide your process in terms of implementing or achieving success. We talked specifically about things in education that we know will help us reach that success. But more importantly, not that you're going to open bananas correctly from now on, but every single time you see a banana, I want you to remember this, that it is possible for us to achieve success in the pursuit of excellence in education. Thank you.